Hello, my name is Antonio Olivero and I work at LaGuardia Community College's Student Financial Services office. That's the financial aid office at LaGuardia Community College. Today we're going to present the banking workshop, and this workshop is part of our Smart Money Financial Literacy series. So with that, let's get started. These are our learning objectives. Learn about the services offered by banks and what you need to open up a bank account. An example are savings and checking accounts. Learn about FDIC insurance and how your money is insured while in a bank account. And learn what you can do to open a low fee or no fee bank account. First, some financial facts. In 2015, the FDIC did a national survey. What is the FDIC? The FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. They insure your money while it is in a bank account, and we'll go over that in a little bit more detail shortly. But the FDIC did a national survey, and what they found was 7% or 9 million U.S. households were unbanked. That means they were not utilizing any of the financial services that are available to us. An additional close to 20% or 24.5 million households were underbanked. Underbanked means that they may be utilizing some financial services, but they're not fully maximizing all of the financial services that are available to us. People without bank accounts tend to use more expensive prepaid cards, money orders, or check cashing services. These services have costly transaction fees and lack convenient features. So, the FDIC insures your money while it is in one of these types of banks: a commercial bank, a thrift bank, or a savings and loan bank, okay, or a credit union. These banks generally make loans, pay checks, accept deposits, and provide other financial services. Credit unions, in addition to the above services, are generally not-for-profit financial institutions, and they require a membership to open up an account. So, for example, you could have a credit union for living in a certain county, or you are a member of a trade. For example, it could be a plumber's credit union. So those are some examples. The top 5 reasons to keep money in a bank, thrift, or a credit union. So they are safety, convenience, cost reduction, security, and financial future. So let's go over those. First is safety. Your money is insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, up to a total of $250,000 in a checking or savings account. That's $250,000. These banks are also subject to federal and state laws to protect us, the consumers. And generally, when your money is in a bank account, you don't have to worry about your money being lost or stolen. You also have money transfer features. Number 2 is convenience. So you have the ability to write checks and also to cash checks, generally at no cost. You will generally get a debit card. They also offer internet and telephone banking access 24/7, 7 days a week. Automated teller machines or ATMs. Monthly statements, which you can get online or you can have mailed to you. Account alerts, which are an important feature with a bank account. We'll speak about that a little bit more. And also, when you are working, you can have your check deposited through direct deposit, or you can have your financial aid refunds issued via direct deposit directly into your checking or savings account. So cost reduction. So on the left-hand side is when you're not utilizing a bank, and on the right-hand side is when you are utilizing a bank account. So when you are utilizing, let's say, check cashing services, there are fees associated with that. So let's say you get a check 4 times a month, and the fee for that is $20 a month. That could add up to about $240 a year. Money orders to pay bills. If your money order is only $1, that could add up to $60 a year. Now, we also know that in many cases, money orders cost more than $1. They could cost $5, $6, $7. There are ways sometimes to get a money order for less cost. Sometimes you can go to the post office, or some pharmacies offer a money order for $1 nowadays, but sometimes they can be more expensive. Also, with the check cashing services, $20 a month, that may not be completely fair, because generally check cashing services charge you a percentage of your check. So if you have a large check, it could be more than that. But on the left-hand side, just using this fair example, it could cost you $300 a year for check cashing services and money orders. On the right-hand side, you can have a bank account, and if you're charged $5 a month for a monthly fee, that totals about $60. You order a box of checks, that could be another $18. So in this example, the total $78, and your savings are $222. Now, one of the things that we're going to speak about is how to open a low fee or no fee bank account. So we'll explore that a little bit more as we go along, because maybe you don't have to pay the $60 or $5 per month in a monthly fee. Security, privacy notices. They explain how your personal financial information is shared by the bank and also protected by the bank. It's important for you to read through those privacy notices. Under federal law, financial institutions must keep your personal information private. You can stop or opt out of some information sharing via preferences that you set up in the bank account's account settings section. And it's important for you to look at that. Now, when you are setting up those preferences, sometimes it's intuitive, it's easy to find or easy to set up. Sometimes it may not be. So feel comfortable in being in front of your computer and maybe giving the bank a call and ask them to walk you through that setup process. So opting out. This can limit the information that is shared to credit bureaus. What is a credit bureau? A credit bureau, and we go over this more in our credit workshop, but a credit bureau receives and shares information with banks and lenders regarding how you are paying your bills on a monthly basis. So one of the things that we want to point out to you with this consumer information is you can opt out of these pre-screened offers. And if you visit this website, optoutprescreen.com, or go to this or call this phone number, some people don't want that. They want to opt out and have a little bit more security in their accounts. So that's something we just wanted to point out. That is something you can opt out of. So in opting out, you cannot always completely opt out of all information sharing. Financial companies may provide information to firms promoting their company's products or partner products. Transaction records to firms providing data processing, mailing services for the company. For example, if you order a box of checks. Well, the bank doesn't print those checks. That's usually done by a printer, and they may share some information with that company that they utilize. So you need to be aware of that. Information about you in response to court orders. You may not be able to opt out of that. And your payment history to credit bureaus. Okay? So the fifth one is a financial future. So if you have a history of a well-managed bank account, that may help with your credit report and your credit score. And again, we go over more of that in the credit workshop. But the important thing here is, if you are managing your banking account well, what does that mean? Not overdrawing your account, not bouncing checks. That can help you with the first step in establishing or improving your credit score. And something came out recently, and that is called the new Ultra FICO credit score. Well, first of all, what is FICO? FICO stands for Fair Company. It's a company that created and still maintains credit scores that banks use. So what this new Ultra FICO score does is it takes into account how you have managed your bank accounts. Now, this isn't automatic. The way it's set up today, if you want to utilize the Ultra FICO score, you have to opt in and say, I want that information to be used in my credit score. It's not automatic. So if you have not managed a bank account well, maybe you had a hiccup along the way, it's not going to automatically go into this new Ultra FICO score. It will only kick in if you opt in and you say, I want my bank information to be considered. So that's something to be aware of. And also, banks can provide reference letters. So opening a bank account. There's a verification process. Now, this verification process is different than a credit report. Basically, this verification process is a way for banks to check how you have managed your bank accounts, checking or savings accounts in the past. And there's an example of one of these companies that banks use, and it's called Check Systems. So it's not a full credit report, but it is a way for them to check how you've managed bank accounts in the past. Now, I used to be a bank branch manager in the Mid-Hudson area, and I had a customer come in wanting to open up a bank account. And when we went through this system, it said that the person could not open a bank account because something had happened with a bank account in their past. So what can you do if that happens? Well, the first thing that you may want to do is contact that bank that you had that situation with and see if you can come to some type of settlement. Okay, maybe you overdrew your account, maybe you can pay it all off or pay a portion of it off and come to a settlement. Or what you can do is look into what's called the second chance checking programs. Now, you have to do some research. You can go online, find a bank that offers this type of an account, and then you can have that account for, let's say, 6 to 12 months. You manage your bank account well, and then you may be able to upgrade to a regular checking or savings account. Okay, so that's some information on opening up a bank account. What ID is required? Generally, it's 2 forms of ID that's required. For U.S. citizen, generally the primary ID is state ID, non-expired passport, driver's license, and primary ID is generally will have a photo. Secondary ID for U.S. citizens can be a Social Security card, college ID, or credit card. Non-U.S. citizens with a green card, the primary ID can be your green card, and your secondary ID can be a passport or college ID. Non-U.S. citizens without a green card can be your passport for your primary, and then your secondary ID can be your visa, work authorization, or your I-20. Bank account fees to watch for. Monthly maintenance fees. Okay. Generally, you should really shop around to see if there is a bank account that even does not have monthly maintenance fees. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a separate section of this presentation. Watch out for penalty fees or overdraft fees or bounce check fees. Those fees are generally around $35, and you know, they hurt, they sting. So make sure you're managing your checking or savings account well so that you don't pay those fees. So how do you open up, or how do you look for a bank account with either no monthly fees or low fees? Well, again, you really have to shop around for the best deal. But here are a couple of tips for you. So first, if you sign up for an account and you have the ability to sign up with direct deposit, that means, let's say you have your paycheck and you are going to have your paycheck directly deposited into your bank account, you know, several times a month. Most banks will offer you either a low fee or no fee bank account. Why is that? Well, basically, banks have determined that people who set up direct deposit accounts tend to keep that bank account for a longer period of time, and it ends up being a more profitable bank account to the bank. So you need to be empowered. Know that if you can open up an account with direct deposit, you really, if you shop around, you shouldn't have any monthly maintenance fees. Sometimes if you open a student bank account, in many cases there's no monthly maintenance fee or a low monthly maintenance fee. If you open up a bank account and you complete a minimum number of monthly debit transactions, sometimes you can open a no fee bank account. And then the simplest one, but sometimes it's not the easiest one, is to maintain a minimum balance per month in a bank account. So that could be $1,000 or, you know, whatever the account calls for. But again, the important thing here is shop around and look for the best deal for yourself. Bank account best practices. So first, balance your bank account, balance your checkbook. Okay, what does that mean? That means that you have a list or ledger or list of the commitments you have made on that bank account. So yes, you have debit charges, but you could also have an electronic payment, or you can have a check that you write. Now, the ATM may say you have $500 in your account, but when you look at your checkbook, you see, oh, I made a commitment by writing a check to some entity, and that check hasn't cleared yet. So really, how much do you have in your bank account? If the ATM says $500, but you wrote a check for an additional $200, you really only have $300 in your bank account. So if you have another transaction for $320, guess what's going to happen? You're going to overdraw your account. You're going to have one of those overdraft fees of $35. So you can do this on a piece of paper. You can do it on a spreadsheet. There's many different types of software that's available, like Mint and other software programs. But you really need to understand what exactly is going on with your checking or savings account so you don't overdraw your account. Next is leave yourself a cash cushion. Some merchants, especially for larger purchases, but it can even happen with small transactions, they can hold or place a hold of a larger amount than your actual transaction is. So again, when I was a branch manager at a bank, I had a customer come in and said, well, you have placed a hold of $30 for this transaction I had. I went and purchased gas, and I only got $20 in gas. Well, is that possible? Yes, it is possible. If you read your if you read your bank account contract, it says that merchants and banks can place a larger hold than what the actual transaction amount is. And this sometimes can overdraw your account. So what you need to consider is leaving yourself a cash cushion. Don't go down to the last dollar or last $10. Try to maintain a cushion in your account, maybe of $200, $300. Okay? So be aware of that. Consider account transaction alerts. This is something that I utilize a lot. So if I have a transaction that is larger than $500, I want to know about it. And I like getting text alerts. You can also set it up where you get email alerts. One that I also like is if I use my card online where the plastic was not presented, I want to know about those transactions. Why? Because those are generally riskier internet transactions. So I want to know about those. What are those generally? That's me or my wife typically buying something on Amazon, right? The plastic isn't presented, but you had a transaction. Another one that you may want to consider with regard to transaction alerts is if my bank account falls below, let's say, $300 or $400, I may want to get an alert to that effect to let me know that my account is getting low and I may want to deposit more monies into that account. And then consider overdraft protection. So what is overdraft protection? Overdraft protection is, let's say for some reason you do overdraw your account. What you can do is you can attach a savings account to a checking account, and if you overdraw your account, it'll pull the money out of your savings account. And that's something you may want to consider. One of the things to be careful of is sometimes some banks offer overdraft protection utilizing credit. And be just a little aware of that, because generally overdraft protection utilizing credit is, in many cases, a high cost of credit. In other words, a high interest rate. So think about doing it with a savings account. Okay, so that goes through our workshop, and we want to say thank you to everyone for attending. Two last quick items, and that is, if you expect to receive a financial aid refund after you pay your tuition and fees, please consider signing up with direct deposit. You can do that on CUNY First. And why is it a good idea? A, it's safe. You don't have to worry about lost or stolen checks. It's convenient, and it's fast. The money goes directly into your checking or savings account. And then we also want to tell you about an office called LaGuardia C.A.R.E.S. It stands for College Access for Retention and Economic Success. LaGuardia C.A.R.E.S. is part of the Financial Aid Office. It's part of Student Financial Services at LaGuardia. And LaGuardia C.A.R.E.S. connects students from low-income families to life-changing financial resources such as public benefits, tax credits, and other essential services that remain untapped and may appear to be inaccessible. LaGuardia C.A.R.E.S. is a great office. They help with people applying for public benefits. There's a food pantry. They offer tax preparation. It's just a fantastic office, and please be aware that it's available to you. So with that, we are done. Thank you for attending. Again, my name is Antonio Olivero. You can go on to our website where you can see some other information on financial literacy. And one thing that I want to do before we close down is I do want to show you a handout. It's called Choosing a Bank and a Bank Account Checklist. This will also be available on the website. So when you're looking to choose a bank or comparing different services from different banks, you can use this form from the Federal Trade Commission to help you find the best possible bank account for yourself. Okay, so with that, we're going to bring the presentation to a close. Thank you for attending and have a great day.